Fly or a Flame Break. But I love the Jakiro as an opener. Like, this hero is insanely good as position 5. I think we're going to see more of him for sure, where you have a hero who, you know, just completely dominates the laning stage, has 800 HP, level 1, has a big mana pool, can easily trade with any supports.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. My only concern is right now Alliance's draft is just kind of owned by BKBs. You got nothing for it. And I'm always a little concerned when one of the picks you've revealed is a carry, because it means you're going to have limited methods of adding BKB piercing or physical damage to your draft. You've made a face at the Oracle.
Yeah, no, I've just seen this lineup in the previous series. They picked exact same 3 heroes, and they picked DB, which is banned out. So it's just the comfort picks for FlyToMoon.
It's odd, though, because Oracle typically isn't the greatest against Slark, because if you get an ult off on somebody and that target's still dying, Slark just gets an extra 15 stacks. I love this pick. I'm so happy Alliance has brought it back. We saw in their previous series, I think earlier this weekend, Limp played a Jakiro and a Death Prophet. I think they lost both games, but I think his DP is either the best in world or second to no one. And ultimately, I think it just matches the way they want to play. Because now with Slark, you can play up-tempo, but the Death Prophet's there to provide that physical damage that was missing, plus Tower Siege, which you have limited because you don't want Slark hitting towers. You want him kind of just circling around, waiting to pounce.
Yeah, great stuff, Kyle. No one could have said it better. They're going to go with Invoker once again. So, you know, Spirit Vessel Carrier against the Death Prophet. They just need a different carry, what they had in game number 1.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lacoste. Nobody could have said that better. But I think one of the interesting things that Lacoste actually already mentioned is we're seeing comfort picks for FlyToMoon. And we also were talking so much about how we were kind of curious. They were in a bad position, right? Having to play first. Alliance gets to sit back, watch the matchup, and we're like, wow, they didn't actually reveal that much. They could have a few cards up their sleeve when they actually get into the matchup with Alliance to be able to break that out. But now we're starting to see, do you think maybe they don't have as much as their disposal, or do you think that they're trying to keep those cards close to their vest during this?
That's really interesting, because like I've been a player, I've talked to a lot of teams about this. Players prefer what FlyToMoon's doing right now, which is if you have to play 2 series in a day, it's better to be back-to-back. And I feel like that's because it is a better trade-off to limit your prep time, but you're warmed up now, right? So your advantage as FlyToMoon is like, sure, Alliance knows what you're going to pick, but you're coming to this game warm. You just beat up on NIP twice. You're feeling confident. This is now like the 3rd game I'm playing Tiny. You're feeling yourself, and that's their advantage. Strategically, I think Alliance is certainly ahead. I really like the DP in this game. Just I think Limp's going to have full freedom, but FlyToMoon's feeling themselves.
Yeah, I hope not. But I think that there's also one of those things, too, where it's like, why would you want to give yourself more homework? Right.
Yeah. Totally.
Who wants to sit there, watch another team play? Just play Dota. And they got to do that today. And also, I think you got to look at the fact that the way that they did it, you know, we've heard different casters refer to it as different things right now. Slacks went on a huge trash analogy. They were on fire. They managed to completely dismantle the team that they were playing against. It doesn't matter that they only won 1 series before they actually got to this NIP matchup, and it was against NIP as well, right? The thing is when you enter the matchup, no, it really doesn't matter, right? All you're going to feel is the win. And I think that puts them in a great spot when they're playing against Alliance, because this is the most important series that they played at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Everything else, and that's the reason, like, my brain fails to calculate so the stakes in so many matchups and groups. Anybody's brain is going to have that unless you're a true glowy brain hero sitting there with an abacus calculating what everything can do. The stakes are about as clear as night and day right here as you enter this matchup. You either want to stay immortal or you're going to be dropping down.
Yeah. And if you're Alliance, dropping a Divine is a no-go. Like, this team finished 4th at the last major we had before quarantine. That's their expectations. They're looking to prove that they belong in the conversation for teams that can win tournaments, not just teams that maybe will lose to Secret. And right now, this is a must-win series for them. I'd say FlyToMoon, you know, you're coming in this like completely free. As you said, like, they had to stave off elimination once today. They got to try and do it again. The PL coming out. That is...
All right. I think it's a good Mars game. They banned out Underlord, which is one of the better heroes, against the Phantom Lancer. You know, Firestorm damage. You have a root mechanic. Is Darkseer still in a pool? No, he's banned out. I just love Mars.
What about Brew for S4?
No, please, God, no. That hero is a complete debate. Even though there's some, you know, good spells to dispel. It is, but still, the hero has a very low win rate, and just feels like if you misuse your first and second ulti, you're done. Your game's over.
Is and Darkseer's gone, right?
Gone.
No, they left Darkseer.
No, he's banned.
Oh. Well, and they have Oracle too, I suppose. That was another option. They just pick something that isn't threatened by the PL. The trouble is, into Bat, I was a bit concerned about Timber, whereas I like Brew a lot into Bat. Lanes are going to be very important for FlyToMoon. Especially if we expect a Quas Wex Invoker style. They need their PL to get ahead, but they also need Bat and Invoker online so they can kind of run around the map. And Alliance have a much easier time of capitalizing on teamfight wins and taking towers, because you've got DPL, if you got Jakiro, you got Timber who can just tank. So if they get momentum, like, they're just going to run away with it.
Last time Alliance picked Timbersaw as their last pick, he went godlike. Like, he just popped off. I believe it was against the Drow Ranger and the Venge lineup, but he can do the same here. Like, S4's Timbersaw is pretty amazing. One thing I'm worried about is that Prophet ulti against the PL. A lot of that damage will be spread around the illusions. And yeah, Alliance, they have a good lineup, you know, just closing out the gap, creating a lot of chaos with their heroes. You have two of the best, like, frontliners that go in and don't care too much. Earth Spirit, you have a Timbersaw, and then you also have a Slark, you know, who just wants to get on top. It doesn't feel like a great Oracle game. He's going to have issues using ulti on a proper target.
I was about to make that same point, because Oracle, you're going to get found, and ultimately the issue I have is you don't have anyone to play with naturally. You know, there's not really a ton of synergy with your two cores, and you don't have any, like increased healing. Like, no hero has self-sustain. And you're just this naked Oracle who's going to be hunted at all times by Nico and Hanskin.
How do you like the Phantom Lancer? Because I feel like there was so much discussion between, I think it was Fogg and Jenkins earlier today, we were talking about Phantom Lancer and if PL really fits into the meta right now, if it's a hero that we like to see. It seemed like they were pretty much on the side of they're not liking the Catman anymore.
It's not. The hero's got like too much volatility. Again, you look at something like Void or Terrorblade. You have very easy to understand win conditions and power spikes. PL is a lot of I guess discovery that still needs to happen with the item build. Like, you rush this Diffusal, but then you don't really scale as well. If you go for your farming item first, you're just kind of worthless in fights. You're very much, it feels like a level 25 carry, and games are just decided before that nowadays.
I think that's a very good way to put it. I don't think anybody could have said it better, but it's time to actually jump into the game and see who's going to take it. The stakes are very high. Only one of these teams is going to be able to stay immortal.
That's right. It was a great breakdown from our panel, but we also had our own green room breakdown with yourself as well as T-Governor. You guys were talking about the draft, and from what I was listening to, it sounded like Alliance was kind of putting FlyToMoon in a corner in the draft.
Yeah, it did feel like that because, I mean, they got to see them play the previous series, and they just picked pretty much the exact same draft. So I feel like they got to pick and choose and just decide exactly what they wanted to play against. I think they were just like, all right, they're going to pick Tiny Batrider. What's the best two opener for us to cover this? Slark, of course, versus the Batrider, and then Jakiro is good versus both because he can just be tanky and he's very good in the lane versus it. So yeah, I think Alliance set themselves up like perfectly for success.
And then on top of that, they drafted the Death Prophet, which again matches up well against both those duos if they end up going mid as well. So then we have the swerve into the Invoker, which you said doesn't feel like the best pick in the world.
No, I feel like it's forced, but I mean the one thing is like Iceberg, like we talk about it, super volatile player, right? So having him on this type of hero, maybe he just does pop off. Maybe he takes over the game, and I feel like this is one of those games that he does actually have to pop off and control. I'm not a fan of Phantom Lancer right now.
Well, seeing as we're kind of setting our expectations for this game one, I'll just give one more bonus to Alliance here, in that they are playing Slark, Nico Baby's second highest win rate hero, 71%. You know what his highest win rate hero is, Fogged? Phantom Lancer.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So both of them in the game, and obviously they have some pretty good ideas on how to play against the PL as well. So, but what are the upsides to FlyToMoon's draft?
I mean, they can play fast. They definitely can set the tempo, and they did look good, especially with like Roger playing this Tiny with the Batrider. Bat still can just change a lot of things because how much pressure you can apply. You can do so much. However, he has to avoid the Slark. He has to find a way to play away from that Slark in particular. And they do have a pretty good fighting as 4 lineup, right? Tiny, Oracle, Invoker, Batrider. If they're off to a good start, they can do well. I don't know when PL shows up.
So we're pretty much guaranteed to be seeing the same lane shenanigans that we saw from the first game of the day, right? Which is they have to get the Batrider against the Timbersaw and not against the Slark. So FlyToMoon is going to be doing everything they can to make sure that laning matchup happens.
Yep. What the? They're drawing
That
on
is
the map.
adorable.
A little bit of a
Roger.
sombrero. Yeah, Jesus. VTune's like, no. None of this.
He's not
no
about
fun.
this.
Not allowed.
Do you watch Adventure Time?
I did. I used to.
Okay, do you remember the Hat Man? I don't remember what his name was.
Oh,
but
God.
The Wizard Man. That's what it made me think of.
Oh, that's true. It did.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I actually did watch it.
What a great show.
It was.
You should watch
Classic.
that and feel happy instead of when I was listening to the Slacks cast, he said, look this up if you want to feel sad. And I did look that thing
Don't
up.
look it up.
Yeah,
don't look it up.
that was a sad trip. Thank you for that, Slacks.
Yeah, as soon as he said it, I was like, I looked this up when I was younger, and I was quite mortified.
Oh, there are terrible things out there in the world. That's why we focus on the good things in video games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited, but I'm worried really, really badly for VTune because it's also he's pretty good versus like Earth Spirit and stuff like that, right? He can be elusive on this Phantom Lancer, but there's a Jakiro. Jakiro loves to play versus Phantom Lancer. You have the Ice Path, you have all of your abilities are good versus him. Literally every single one of them, except I guess you could say Liquid Fire, but even then it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, we've got so much AoE coming out from the whole of Alliance.
Yep.
And it's not like this Slark Phantom Lancer matchup, right? It's not just purely favored towards Phantom Lancer, right?
No. Slark he can just weave in and out of the fights. He can play around the illusions. They only last for so long, right?
Yeah.
Like this hero is going to be weaving in and out of the fights, playing to make sure that he's not just fighting versus numerous. Looking at this right now by Alliance, look at the Earth Spirit. Immediately, he double rolls to the bottom lane with his Rolling Boulder. Like we said, it's all about scouting lanes so they can get those proper lane matchups. Even starting Boots, Hanskin just wanting to reiterate, this is the matchup we want. We want our Slark versus Batrider. We want our Timbersaw versus PL.
And both teams very likely are going to be hiding exactly what their lane matchups are. They're not going to be showing too quickly on the bounty runes, which does always mean some funny shenanigans could happen here. I'm going to start seeing... now, what we've seen in the past is a lot of times both cores will hang out in the mid lane until something shows one way or another.
People just saving TPs all the time. Nico Babies looks like he's trying to maybe get some information or maybe give some false information there, walking forward into tower vision.
Okay, so there's the Slark. The Batrider heads down to bottom. That is where the Timbersaw's going to be heading. It does look like this is going to be the cost.
Are they going to swap it right away?
Yeah,
the mind game, right? Nico Baby showed, so he's like, I gotcha. And then he's going to run top. But they're both going to have TPs available, so it's going to be TP, like you said, TP shenanigans, rotating lanes quite a bit here just to get those matchups.
I love the way that Alliance did this, because this is the best time to do that arduous walk across the map thing. You know, where the creeps, you're not going to be missing too much, let's say, in those side lanes.
And, I mean, they're going to win it right away. Ooh, misses the last hit, actually. Limp there. The Colt's not messing with him a bit there. They see the lane. And look, Batrider shows bottom. And he's not going to be happy, because Slark is walking down there.
Okay, so what are some things that you can do when you end up with the wrong lanes? Like, how do you fix this besides just TPing, because then they're going to TP as well?
I've seen teams that do, like, you bring a support and you go for a kill. Because even though the matchup might be bad, if you kill them at level 1, it changes it, right?
Right.
Because then you get that level advantage, and you do have kill threats some of the times.
And then plus, if the carry TPs out to lane, once they die, then you're like, okay, now time to switch.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you have a couple different ways to play around it. That's the best one that I've seen, is when they just bring the third hero. I've seen like Secret do that a couple times, just like, all right, we get level 2 on our support because he just solo laned in some weird lane. He TPs, you get the kill, swap up the lanes, boom, you're in an advantageous position.
Nico Baby.
Level 2 support.
Level 2 support, and Nico Baby, only level 1 here, doesn't have his pounce up. If they can just see him, they can finish him off, but it looks like Nico Baby hides away into the trees, gets off the healing salve.
That was scary, though, for him.
Yeah.
Power of getting those supports, those early levels, is actually so strong when you do get these wonky little lane switches. So always want to fly. We'll be able to put some pressure at least there, but now they're healed up, and lane's going to go back to normal a bit here.
So our Timbersaw is going to be running across the map, but our Slark is still sticking around. So I guess we'll have to see what kind of happens in this situation.
He knows. Did Bat TP? Didn't he know the Bat TP'd? Oh, no, okay. Bat actually walked, sorry. I was actually paying attention to them going for the kill. So, okay, yeah, he's doing the right move there.
Toss back, good kill on the support while the core is away.
Easy.
Kick these heroes when you see the opportunity, these lane shenanigans. If you can kick a hero out of lane and then just have an empty lane, it's a massive advantage.
Yep. And now we're seeing the switch again. Like you said, musical lane, Slark now running toward top. This mid matchup, though, this is the one where they're going to pull out ahead quite highly on Alliance, I do feel. Like, I think this is just a very DP-favored matchup. Invoker will farm. He shouldn't die. but he's going to get out CS'd quite heavily, and he will get the tower. He will get the wave pushed onto him quite heavily. Sure, you have Tornado, you have better mana regen with Null, but so does Death Prophet.
Is there a level where this matchup becomes more acceptable, one-sided to the other?
Not really as Quaswex. You just sustain. You don't ever like actually even out in those last hits. You can make a rotation. You can set up easily for like a Tiny to run in with boots and get a toss back because you have that Tornado to play around. But yeah, you're gonna suffer a bit on those last hits for sure because you're always just gonna have lane pressure onto your side.
In which case, it's up to Iceberg. You talked about his aggression as a player. That's where he's gonna have to be able to make the comeback.
Yeah. But he shouldn't die, and he should still he should stay like this. This is fine. 10-1 to 13-4. That's kind of like the spread that it should be. He should be able to keep himself at least relatively close.
Meanwhile, our side lanes, it seems like FlyToMoon is actually going to accept this matchup now, which I'm a little bit surprised just because I feel like the Timbersaw versus Phantom Lancer just gets harder over time. Yep. And while the Batrider remains a credible threat to Timbersaw the entirety of the matchup. But they do manage to kill Nico Baby, so maybe it just comes down to the support levels instead.
Yeah, the one thing about Slark is, when you're in this type of lane, it is weird, right? Like, you see the Dark Pact huge, and then that's immediately when you go. Because you get 3 stacks, and then Tiny's a hero that can actually capitalize on that super hard. And Roger's got good levels, so as soon as Dark Pact goes in, Roger's going to play incredibly aggressive. And this is that rotation.
Yeah,
so now he can
really
actually
big.
set up.
Iceberg baits him in. Limp is going to be caught by the rotation from Roger. He's setting up to make sure he gets the toss back here. Pops the Fairy Fire, hoping that the Siphon will manage to get the kill on Iceberg before he dies, but an Avalanche is just a bit too disruptive. Now, Slark did TP out to lane, so I'm curious if FlyToMoon is going to swap things up or if they're content.
I think General's feeling good because of the start he's been giving. Double Null, he can actually apply pressure here. Especially with Roger having such a good start.
Yeah.
Roger tried to save his Avalanche in mid, by the way. He was trying to be greedy.
Yeah, I saw.
I want to keep my mana for the movement, but I had to end up using it. Yeah, great start here from FlyToMoon. They've gotten everything set up. Now they're glyphing the creep wave top.
All right, the Dark Pact goes off. Roger. He's going to hold on to this for now. I think he maybe really wanted to get... Man, Nico Baby did get pretty low.
Yeah. There's a raindrop, though, so he might actually not be in pop vicinity. As bottom, they do find themselves a kill. Bounty runes. They did push them all the way back to the tower, so it should be a double free bounty rune for Roger. Yeah, you can see how much that damage. Like when the Batrider starts getting a lead over the Slark right at this beginning, it's not that bad. Just Dark Pact's not really that great. You're hurting yourself a little bit too while you.
Yeah. It just kind of sets up a burst support to really feel good about going on you.
Yeah, I mean they're giving up. You know they're pressuring the Slark more to allow S4 farming, but like you said, this could prove to be pretty problematic. We did see, like they mentioned on the draft panel, their Timbersaw went beyond godlike the other day. He took over the game pretty much entirely. That hero...
Tornado EMP with Roger coming in hot once again, but this time around, there's going to be some supports from Alliance. Both of them show up, but it may not be enough to be able to save Limp. The Spirit Siphon keeps him alive. That healing is just enough to stay above the threshold. Meanwhile, bottom lane, V2 going to be chased down by S4. Another round of nukes, he's got him.
You just mentioned the Timbersaw.
Yeah, and FlyToMoon, they may be regretting not taking that advantage of that lane swap when they had the opportunity. They killed Nico Baby. He TP'd out to lane. They could have swapped if they wanted to.
And Nico Baby's actually kind of just solidified his lane up top. He's in the safe lane. It's harder to die because he has Raindrop too. Let's see how FlyToMoon actually adjusts to this, as it does seem to be a little bit of a problem. The fact that Roger's having to do this much is scary, right? Look how much he's having to move. Moving all the way to bottom now to try to help.
Good job. I always want to fly, saving himself a lot of damage. Still not enough, but with Roger coming in, they do have the damage to be able to bring down S4. That's a kill streak as well. So in a very weird way, always want to fly's death does pay some dividends over to FlyToMoon.
Yeah, I mean, this is if you're playing the 4 position, right? Roger's like, hell yeah, dude, keep dying. Give me that money.
General still trying to chase down Nico Baby. This very clutch time, man, he was so close to level 6 too.
I realized we always call him Nico Baby instead of just calling him Nico. I feel like for some names we do shorten them, but for him it's always just Nico Baby. I don't think I've ever just called him Nico.
You know what's funny is when No Tail went over to Big Daddy, I could never call him just Big Daddy. Maybe that's just a little too uncomfortable for me. But saying the full name of Big Daddy No Tail, something about that just fit.
I guess that's I guess that's why it just flows. You know, Nico Baby, just the baby over there.
CR odds definitely favored to Alliance, probably as they should be. The panel was talking about how Alliance has had some really good runs through LANs recently. They're one of the few European teams who's managed to beat Secret in a series rather than just take games off of them.
Yeah, they've looked solid. They have. They had a couple shakeups in this tournament so far, but overall, they definitely look good. They have cool ideas too. I think they were one of the first teams, even though it was rampant in pubs. They were the ones who did like Klink's Enchantress here.
Sure.
They've done some clever stuff with their drafts.
Is Klink's Enchantress dead since they changed the Enchantress? It's like 400 less HP, right?
It's like 700 less, I think, right? It's
really?
Yeah, it went from 1,200 to 500, I think it is, or something. Like, insane how much plus. And dude, but EG played it yesterday, twice.
Yeah.
We were confused why they did that, but I mean, it feels like it's pretty dead. I didn't feel Klink's doing much of anything in those games, but could be wrong.
TP coming in from General. They're going to try and kill S4. He just died recently, so this would be a massive kill if they can get it, especially with Roger set up there. It's a guaranteed kill.
Yep.
So S4 is going to have to do that long walk. And in fact, FNG, he completes his TPN, and General's like, okay, I didn't use my lasso, so
it's a freebie.
Might as well put it to work here. The FNG, they're going to have to dive for this kill, and the TP's coming in from the Death Prophet. Another late one that's probably not going to result in a whole lot for Alliance.
Nice moves there by General. Just getting right out of the top lane. He knows he can't pressure the Slark anymore. Swift TP. S4 actually just picked up the cloak. I was like, oh shit, is the cloak actually going to change something here? But nah, too much damage. But yeah, they always will have those kill methods because of that Bat Rider versus Timbersaw until he starts getting more items. Once he starts getting his hood and his Eels to play around, it's going to be a lot more difficult. But yeah, perfect move by General and Roger so far in this game. They've played this early game to the T.
Yeah, they've looking really good at the very top of the net worth board. There is this Invoker who's a bit farther behind right now. He's just been a part of kills, but I'm not sure if he's even gotten a last hit on one. Yeah.
Kind of nature of the matchup. Even though he got help, right? Even though Roger came and helped him twice, he still ends up losing his tower, and he's still at a deficit in the lane. That's just Death Prophet versus Invoker things.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I love this little tower thing, by the way. You get to see the exact HP points on all of them.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Nice.
And now we're seeing S4. The pressure begins. Who's down here watching? Is it okay? It's gonna be General. Good. I was gonna be like, VTune should not be anywhere near this. He should just be farming jungle on this PL. Make sure that he gets enabled, and they should just have the Bat Rider to soak the tower pressure. And that's exactly what they're doing. And it looks like he's gonna actually look to get involved early. So rather than going for Manta or Yasha, he's actually gonna get the Diffusal.
Okay.
To join the fights.
That will certainly help them continue to deal with the Timbersaw, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they do have a decent number of answers between the Quaswith Invoker, who's naturally going to build into Spirit Vessel, even if it's not the same hard counter as it used to be. It definitely helps. You're going to see that Tornado EMP certainly go to work in burning out S4's mana. He does have Arcane Boots as well as Soul Ring to work with, and 12 Magic Wand charges. They push him back and get the deny, but now they're going to get caught on their way out. It's a level 5 Oracle. He may not be able to help anybody here. Gives the magic immunity over to Iceberg, and Iceberg, he sees they've got no stuns to actually throw out. General flew away, so it's only the 5 position that died. Again, a level 5 position, so not even worth that much experience.
And they're going to look to get, 3 bounty runes out of it. All right. Pretty good reset for them there. And we are seeing, S4, he might be tanky, but there's a ton of magic damage. And EMP plus, PL when he eventually gets Diffusal, the mana drain is going to be really obnoxious this game.
There's something about the tiny setup that makes General's movements feel a lot better, where you've got this big burst of damage, you've got a fair amount of catch from the tiny. Fortunately, S4 was able to read the situation really well and played the distance pretty heavily there.
They're going hand in hand, right? Roger plus General, both of these just on the same wavelength right now in all the games so far that they've played today. Look at this, Roger.
Going for S4 without General's help. Iceberg's going to try and punt out the damage, and it's enough. The CMP will burn S4 out. Another big kills. Alliance rotate here to defend their tower, but S4 is already dead, and FlyToMoon may feel good about going for a dive if they spot anybody.
Dude, Roger being off to this good of a... level 7 already. He's 600 from the Blink Dagger, less than 600 away. That's a threat. Death Prophet does not like playing versus those type of burst things when you don't have a save mechanic behind you. If he's able to get this Blink really early, he's going to apply a ton of pressure onto Alliance. even Slark, like, he's not the highest HP hero. I saw he is going for Echo Saber, so he can actually deal with that big burst damage that's on the side of FlyToMoon, but yeah, this is a really good start for them here.
Setting up the two supports. They're going to poke their heads out with 2 TPs coming in from Alliance. Hanskin has started the fight and has gotten some damage in, but a Tornado is really good to disengage. In fact, Roger's going to come in, just quickly kill the Earth Spirit, and then start backing away. Unfortunately, General's going to be run down. Alliance, they need to be able to catch more, and it looks like they've got it well in hand here. As always want to fly. He's going to be slowed down by the Spirit Siphon. He's getting himself a lot of healing, but I doubt it's going to be enough. It's going to be close.
He actually survives.
Barely lived. I think that was something like less than 50 HP. As that green health bar was completely empty. Iceberg seeing some couriers here. He tries to snipe both of them. He gets limps, and no, the other one runs up the outpost, and with the TP coming in, Iceberg knows he's got a skedaddle, and he runs right into an Invis rune too. That was certainly needed.
Catch him with the pounce. They have a dust.
Dust lands on him, and Iceberg, he's maybe dead here. The Tornado, he doesn't have the Ghost Walk for another 5 seconds. Slark is closing in fast. Ghost Walk is almost there, but the pounce lands, and it is enough to be able to get the kill. VTune tried to help him out the last second there, but he's just got to go back to farming, back to focusing on this diffusal blade. All important. Roger jumping in. Nico Baby, he's already blown his defense mechanism of that ultimate. VTune thought about it. I liked how disengaged there, realizing that was going to be going a bit too far. Stops that rush and now goes back into Limp. Limp pretty low on mana here, but lots of charges. General still has that lasso ready to go.
They want someone real bad here.
Yeah, I think S4 is going to be the target here. He's got plenty of napalm stacks, so they certainly got the damage to be able to bring him down. Alliance just completely forfeit that engagement.
And we see those mango. Both sides actually do have mango trees, so we're just going to keep hearing those being consumed inside
There's
the fight. And another
blink.
one. I mean, Roger's got a blink at like pre-13 minutes, pretty much. It was when he picked it up. That's a problem. That's a huge problem for Alliance that they're gonna have to deal with. Nico Baby actually had to be the one that turns up and gets that like chase to kill Iceberg because the rest of the teams couldn't. But this is a Tiny who now threatens your course pretty significantly because of this.
Yeah, there's a reason that Roger, in his very first tournament with Virtus.pro, won the MVP for ESL 1 Katowice. It was a very impressive performance by him during that time, but he certainly proved that his success as a 4 position is not necessarily because of that VP squad by itself.
Yeah, I mean, him in general have really been on point. Like, every single one of their rotations has pretty much been successful. And they did great in that top lane, too.
Yeah.
So they're both super enabled by it for the time being. Alliance, they look like they're going to back up, give themselves a little bit of time to farm, finish up those items. I believe S4, he still didn't have the hood the last time when I saw him brought down, so I think he really wants to finish that one. He's actually not that farmed. They put a lot of attention onto him after that laning start.
I like this Force Staff. Initially, I was like, but Blink, like, it's so good, potentially, getting this fast jump, but Force Staff has a ton of value in this game.
Yeah. Versus that Slark in particular, versus Ice Path. Yeah, a lot of different reasons. S4 just continuing to suffer every time he shows his face.
I like the fact that FlyToMoon, we keep on seeing them. They don't go too kill crazy.
No.
You know, they see an opportunity, they throw out their damage, and if it's not enough, okay, it's not enough. They don't try and dive in too deep and throw away this advantage they built for themselves, which is currently sitting at 3,000 net worth.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you have like VTune is probably telling them as well. He's probably like, guys, I'm full blown free farming. Yeah, like I had a little bit of a rough start in the lane because I died the one time, but I'm zooming up there, and I went for a fighting build. I went for a diffusal blade, and I'm able to just free farm. Limp's still not having his Yule Scepter either, so I mean, he just doesn't have good survivability at all.
Do you think there's
Blink dagger scary?
You think there's a part of him that regrets going that fighting build now, like because his team has been so successful without him?
Maybe a tiny bit. It still doesn't feel bad to ever have it, right? On a
Sure.
CPL, it's like, whatever. If you find a support solo farming somewhere, you're going to kill them every single time. And it's not like a terrible farming item. It still has good agi.
And certainly added insurance for the around that 20-25 minute mark, especially since Nico Baby is going to be going for a fighting build himself with an early BKB pickup.
Oh, look at that. That just shows how much he feels threatened by this super heavy magic damage lineup of FlyToMoon. They're not going to be having a Veil, though. That's something I always do like to see when I see such a heavy magic damage lineup, is trying to pick one up. But, I mean, Roger could, but he maybe wants to get his own type of like defensive item, like a Force Staff at some point too.
Yeah, it always feels like a shame when just like the natural buildup of all these heroes, just none of them can really fit it in.
Might be worth. I mean, even like I can't say Oracle. He'll never be in position to do it. It would have to be the Tiny, but
yeah.
He probably wants Force for the Slark. Smoke revealed. Hanskin.
Another situation, your smoke like you feel like most like I see a lot of teams we smoked for this. Like we got to get something right. Their smoke breaks and they don't blindly blink in or something. You know, they're just like okay. That's fine, like, we don't know what this situation could be, and in fact, they would be fighting under a ward if they blinked in like that, so good of them just to disengage for now.
Yeah, good discipline. Here they're trying to force some reaction, try to get this middle tower. Alliance. They have a good D-push with S4, but he does have to be a little wary of his positioning, as they do have that Blink Tiny and that Bat Rider. They have a lot of different ways to reposition people.
Oh, nice initiation on V2. They're going to try and blow him up, but there is the Oracle save from behind. Now, they're going to try and reset off of that. V2 actually thinking he can go back in on Hanskin. He's going to be caught by the pounce. Silence up as well, and he's going to get popped like that. Oh, he could have gotten out, but instead he gets punished. And FlyToMoon, their discipline, it finally breaks, and they get caught in a nasty situation. Always want to fly. Going to go for the TP out here, but the pounce is there from Nico, baby. 3,000 net worth lead, all gone off of one team fight.
Oof, and it gives the Surf Spirit now a full veil, and they hold their tower. Everything just super beneficial there for Alliances. A nice initiation. The Ice Path into the boulder, into just a lot of silences. That is something they still do have. The Oracle has a tough time walking in, and V2 kind of stayed. He turned. Yeah. I think he started feeling a little powerful, but you're into Death Prophet and Timbersaw as a PL. Like they're just gonna shred your illusions in you incredibly fast. So a little bit of a weird turn by him, but gets punished.
And as a result, that tier 1 mid tower still stays alive, and Alliance gonna get a good amount of map control. And this is gonna be closing in on that timing of the BKB, and Alliance, they're probably just gonna start picking up that 5-man and start trying to pressure down some. Maybe they can get a tier 2 tower before 30 minutes and take that outpost.
Yeah. And we see like these type of fights are actually pretty huge for the supports, in my opinion. Their levels are very important versus the PL. Like more levels of Ice Path, which I think he probably almost has maxed out now, is massive. Like you're going to be that control factor. You are the control factor in your team versus the PL. So yeah, that's definitely big that they all survive. They all clean up that fight.
Hell, even a second level of Macropyre, which traditionally was kind of like, oh, whatever, Macropyre. But now that they add the stickiness of the damage in there, like it actually does make quite a big difference.
Oh, definitely. And this is all because you complimented how disciplined they were, Cap.
I really screwed them up. You know what's funny? They were just like, they look so warmed up from that series, too. I was like, man, FlyToMoon's coming to play right now. But that is the problem with Dota, is that at the highest level, you cannot afford too many big team mistakes. Individual mistakes here and there, I think, are a lot more forgiving, but you screw up a team fight, man, and it really starts going against you hard.
Yeah, and it's tough for them, too, because looking at their lineup just naturally, if they don't get a toss back, if they don't get a lasso to initiate and just kill a target, their team fight just can't match Alliances. Yeah. Earth Spirit, Jakiro, like frontline Timbersaw with the Death Prop ult at running, it's not natural for them to be able to win a head-on fight without some type of advantage.
In which case, that the way you're describing that makes it sound like FlyToMoon should have been the most disciplined around tower pushes, which is the easiest way for a defending team to set up a team fight. Yeah,
and now it's gonna kind of turn into like a snowball factor where now they go back because like shit, we need to finish up another item on the PL or something like that. But that gives time for Exorcism to come back online, give time for Hanskin to reestablish his stones.
General maybe could have grabbed Hanskin there, but most of his team wasn't there just yet. Now Roger's here now. They're gonna try and slow down S4.
Bit scary on the high ground.
Yeah, very scary pushing into a high ground like that. Alliance do have a lot of good vision in these areas. You could see 2 different wards on either side of that boundary rune engagement. They are going to be able to catch the Oracle. As a result, the deeper ward spotted 2 heroes rotating up through the lane, so they quickly move to catch them. It's the support they grab, though. General quickly on the move here with his boots of travel, unlikely to be caught.
Another heads-up move by Alliance. They're still farming well though. FlyToMoon, they're still keeping that 2k advantage because they did back up and try to take it, try to just farm during that Death Prophet ult. But now everything's up for Alliance. They're not afraid to take any type of head-on fight. I do believe that the Manta is now done for V2 though. So now he should actually be feeling a lot better to join the fights because he can avoid those silences.
Right.
But still a lot of control. There's still the Jakiro that's always going to be a problem.
Grabbed him before he could Timber Chain away. You could see Hanskin, he's trying to do something to be able to slow this down, but S4 has been pulled back into his doom. A bump, nice hit from General. That's going to be able to catch up to Hanskin here. Hanskin will have another roll soon, and once again, FlyToMoon see that high ground and say, okay, that is not a place we want to just blindly go into.
Yes, for it. Overstayed his bounds, I believe. I mean, he knows it too. He knows it. Even then going for that last creep wave with your catapult, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Those are, I feel like we see that in pro games and in like pubs all the time. That tower, those offlane towers, you really want to get it, but it's a trap. It almost always is a trap.
Yeah, and ultimately,
I'll take that.
I mean, a lot of things in Dota come down to the risk versus the reward ratio, and like, what is the reward for getting the tier 1 offlane tower? It's usually not that much.
Yeah, he was just really trying to capitalize. Damn, we got that Oracle. We're gonna get an objective off of it, but yeah, ends up paying with his life. His team has to back up and wait for him to respawn for a moment. I mean, Nico Baby still he's farming up a storm though this entire time on the Slark.
Yeah. Level 17.
Nico Baby Slark. Going for that Scotty. Not fun to play versus as an Invoker in particular. Any type of ranged heroes just get destroyed by this item. And he's just going to be really tanky. I think that's the majority of what he wants to do is just, I am not getting popped by Tiny combo.
Yeah.
I am not getting caught up by like some Tornado, Sunstrike, etc.
And it even has a side benefit of helping him with his mana pool, right?
Yes,
because that's going to be a big problem against Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, that's a good call. Now they're getting on their aggressive posture. S4 is like, I died for this tower. We're taking it, and you're giving me the last hit. Thank you. Always want to fly. He's in the front line.
Catches up to always want to fly. Does manage to purge and get himself away.
Ooh,
turning around, lasso on a Nico Baby. Nico Baby didn't get off the BKB, didn't get off his Dark Pact, and now he's dead. And Alliance, they're like, oh shit, there goes all our damage. It's time to leave, boys. It's time to get out of here, but they're going to get caught. Always want to fly. Going to make sure the opposing captain in FNG is certainly going to be following. S4 and Limp are on the run here. Force that forward. Roger, blink up in a second, but I think those other two heroes are just a bit too fast.
And Limp popped the Exorcism on the retreat, too. I think he was trying to scare them, being like, oh, okay, they're not going to chase me into it, but, oh, man, every time we hype up a player, I feel like we just curse them indefinitely.
We really did.
We're like, man, Nico Baby,
look how fearless he's being. Oh, Jesus, he's dead.
Oh, God, he didn't use BKB or Dark Pact. I think Dark Pact maybe had like a split second, but he didn't use anything. He gets caught by the lasso. The new blink on General has shown and punished the Slark.
It's okay. That's what Jenkins and I were doing with Thompson yesterday. Because it's like Thompson, you have to have fun with how aggressive he is, but when it goes wrong, man, it goes really wrong for Thompson.
He's like, man, look at this genius maneuver. He's cutting tier 2 wave. And, oh, he's dead. Oh, God, he's dead. Why is he there? What's he doing?
It's funny how it always goes. Like, the initial part of it always looks good, and then it's always the added efficiency. It's just that extra 10% more. What if I push yet another wave? Or what if I finish off that range creep? Or maybe I funneled into farming up some neutral creeps as well. That's what's going to get you caught, that greed.
See the similar item build from V2 also doesn't want to. I mean, he just wants a long fight, is pretty much that tells me, as his Phantom Lancer going for the Scotty. Versus Death Prophet, another thing. Going for range heroes is always amazing. And then he can tank up. It's very similar kind of style that is as Nico Baby for this game, since he's playing versus that Timbersaw. And they're looking to invade now. They're looking to take advantage. Death Prophet ulti, Exorcism still on cooldown for a couple of seconds here.
FNG, they're going to be able to catch up to him. Flame break on the two of them. Nico Baby commits his BKB to going on Iceberg, but Iceberg, he already has a BKB of his own. Quickly deals with that pounce and is able to play a bit of distance away from Nico Baby, just drawing him away, tornadoing up the other side of Alliance and getting the rest of FlyToMoon. Well, almost everybody back to the high ground. General's the only one who's a little bit separated from his team.
Nico Baby saw him for a second there with the night vision, but don't know if they're going to be able to catch him. He's hiding in the woods, and he'll be fine.
So that was a death and a buyback for FNG, and FlyToMoon They didn't really lose anything for that.
Nope, just the BKB charge, I guess, on the Invoker. That's about it.
Yeah, and if
Worth it.
Personally, I would trade my BKB charge for the Slarks every team fight, right?
Yep. Definitely. I literally just kited Nico Baby the entirety of that fight. Great item choice here by Iceberg. Just
Radiant
defensive
structures
capability.
are fortified.
One small thing we haven't talked about with the Scotty is the health restoration effect that it has now. And that is obviously a big factor in both sides, right? Because one side we got Oracle, the other one Timbersaw, Death Prophet.
That's definitely true.
A 40% reduction could certainly mean a lot. S4 with the pre-Yule Scepter onto General. General, he gets caught in a trap of his own making as he just kind of stumbles into it. Always want to fly ahead to put himself in danger to be able to bail General out. It looks like he's going to be caught by the Death Prophet on the other side of things. Hanskin, who rolled in earlier, now rolls out away from death. FlyToMoon, though, pretty clean extraction. They didn't lose anybody.
They're actually getting out without losing a single hero. And look at all the mana pools on Alliance. 4 heroes completely out of mana. It's only Nico Baby ready to fight. And that was Exorcism used. They got nothing out of it.
How did they not kill that Bat Rider? I mean, of course the Oracle saved him, yeah, but it just looks like such a nasty situation for FlyToMoon.
He just zoomed out of there. They didn't have any type of extra lockdown. And now it's go time.
Yeah.
They only used the false promise. They have everything else available.
I like this a lot. Especially as the tier 3 items just spawned, so there's a pretty decent chance someone from Alliance is going, all right, I'm just going to hit this camp and see if I can get some neutral items for us. If they go into the Dire Jungle, they would find a couple of cores. Nico Baby farming it up right now, General. Doesn't get there in time.
They see FNG.
Yeah.
He was dewarding. General wants him. FNG. Oh,
got him
does not make
just
it
in time.
See you later. Crisp movements by FlyToMoon. Just, I mean, beautiful disengages, really. That's multiple times now we've seen in this game of them just cleanly getting out of a fight. And yeah, now that Scotty's finished up, so versus that Death Prophet versus that Timber, definitely going to be super good. And it's a Roche. No DP ulti, no nothing on Alliance, really. There's no way they can contest this one.
They don't even have much poke that they can really, like, especially with FNG being dead.
They have to kind of just commit in there without Exorcism.
Yeah, that sounds really scary, really bad. S4, he's going to be able to offensively Yule's up Iceberg here. Iceberg still has his BKB, and he's not too worried about this engagement, especially as they've taken the Aegis now. V2, he's going to go forward. Nico Baby, he's going to have to commit his BKB. Starts playing some damage, but they're just ignoring him. They're running past him and going for everybody else. Nico Baby does manage to hit the pounds onto General here, but his BKB is going to wear out soon. Meanwhile, the rest of his team still being chased down by V2, and they got to get out of here. S4 doesn't have much mana left, and a missed Timber Chain. That is a disaster for him. One more Timber Chain, that's all he's going to have the mana for. A self-Yules, Arcane Boots coming up in a second, but it's not going to be in time. Roger, looking for that extra kill, has a 4-staff, tries to get away, saved by the Oracle with a buyback coming in from Hanskin. He wants to make this worth something. He needs to be able to catch them. But is this team fight going to be good? A really good Magnetize and a better Macropyre over the top of the two with a Spirit Siphon Exorcism on the 2 backline heroes as well. Always want to fly. He's going to die stranded in no man's land, while Iceberg does manage to get away with the extra movement speed of Ghost Walk. Limp could not stay on him because of that tornado.
Oh my god, their cores actually are able to disengage out of that there. Huge roll-in by Hanskin too at the buyback, but lacking a little bit of extra catch there. They just walk away from the ghosts again, and look at
V2. He just goes in, no cares. He's got a Scotty, and he's got an Aegis to work with, so he really should not be too scared of anything on the side of Alliance.
And he's fully online. Now it's, now PL looks like a really good hero, right? Compared to the early games where he just takes too long to get online. Now he's fully there. 30 minutes, they've got full dominance, full map control. Bounty rune here, bounty rune there, and oh, is that a Nico Baby Slark down bottom? V2 is fighting with him for a second.
Almost caught him with the tornado. That's a big one. If you could ever hit him with the tornado after he dark packs and pops his Shadow Dance, ooh. That hero starts feeling pretty lackluster. But yes, with a 10,000 net worth lead and V2 specifically stretching his net worth lead over the Slark, the Catman has begun to become a lion. Level 20. picking up some tier 3 items.
And they're just unable to really kill like any of the cores. The Batrider, they even got him in a pretty decent spot there that maybe they can bring him down, but he's tanky on general. He went for the 250 health talent. I've actually seen most people take the +5 sticky. He is a really buff Batrider. Even if he gets grabbed, we saw he's survived so many of these different occasions because of how he's itemized.
Yeah, what a
Look at this,
really
2,150 HP. Even has another like 3,500 gold on top. Yeah, he's very survivable.
One point that seems to be really missing for Alliance is their ability to get on top of this Oracle. How many times does Always Want to Fly? Like, he's actually been out of position, but they still can't actually get on him, kill him, and prevent him from casting all those spells.
Yeah, and like Pano was mentioning, there's a lot of different ways for Alliance to actually get on him. With the Slark giving the night vision, Timbersaw able to jump in the back, Earth Spirit too. You'd think that they would be able to, but not so much here.
Yeah, just been struggling to find the right kind of movements and around the map. I don't know what it is, but
they're just fighting. They're fighting way better, and that's surprising. Like Alliance's, their team fight is super strong, but FlyToMoon is just playing around them. They're always finding the perfect engagement and disengage. And now look at this, another perfect engage.
Gonna be able to grab S4, quickly blow him up. Now he does have buyback. So if FlyToMoon, nice Eul Scepter there from General to be able to stop the TP out from FNG. And Roger, yep, he did go in, see if he can catch that extra hero. The Oracle is always there to bail out that kind of aggressive maneuvers, though.
Such clean initiations every single time, all the way up to a 14k gold lead. They force S4's buyback, and S4, he's looking very done this game. He's looking like he can't do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
They have solved the Timbersaw problem. He started what? He started like 4-1. Now he's 4-7. That's 6 deaths in a row for this Timber.
CS4 struggling to grab somebody, gets the Eul Scepter onto Roger, but Roger turns around, lays a whole heap of damage onto S4, who's trying to get away. The Deafening Blast, one more hit from Always Want to Fly, nukes him down. Hanskin, he tried to roll in after Roger, but Roger turns around and pummels him in the face. Always Want to Fly, even slowing down the retreat of Limp and Nico Baby. This Oracle he doesn't care. He's playing right in the middle of Alliance and still getting off all of his spells. They're just not getting to focus him down. Nico Baby gets away, sure, but it comes at a hefty cost. 3 heroes down with FlyToMoon winning a fight just outside of your base.
Again, into Exorcism. They're just winning every single fight because they're able to get these one-by-one pickoffs because of their godly initiation. And even Iceberg lives. He got chased by the BKB of the Slark, by the Death Breath Exorcism. Ghostwalk, BKB, TP's out right in front of their faces. It's just flawless plays here coming out from FTM.
Throws out the backer fire, but gets grabbed by the lasso. Hanskin does manage to get the roll in. The toss up in the air from Roger. Quick rebuttal onto Hanskin, and the nuke comes in from Always Want to Fly. Just as he thought he was going to escape. No, and now he gets the root onto the Slark as well. Nico Baby, they offer some high fives. Nico Baby does not respond, though.
I mean, this is getting close to being pretty much over. I don't see how Slark can ever kill anybody now. They're way too tanky. Even though he builds up all these Essence Shift charges, he can't do anything.
Watch for the Batrider here. He just picked up a refresher. If he catches Nico Baby in this moment, he's going to go for it. He grabs him. He pops a BKB, but it may be too late. The physical damage is going to come in. Nico Baby's in trouble, but he gets off the Shadow Dance just in time. V-Tune's going to move on to his next victim, though. That's going to be Limp, a self-Eul Scepter, but he's stuck. He can't go anywhere. Trapped underneath the ice wall, stuck in the mire and the muck. That is the FlyToMoon lineup that just holds on to their victims and never lets go. 2 dead with no buyback. Limp can't even make it back to the fountain before V-Tune overwhelms him. GG as FlyToMoon 3-0 now in their run of the day.
I think you might have to, they may have drafted a very similar lineup 3 games